The champagne glass shattered against the marble floor, but nobody moved to help me clean it up. 30 pairs of eyes watched as I stood there, trembling, my mother's words still echoing in the suddenly silent living room. Pay rent or get out, Emma. Tonight. It was Christmas Eve. The tree lights blinked mockingly behind her, and the smell of her famous honey ham filled the air. My hands were still wet from washing dishes in the kitchen, the same dishes I'd been washing since I was 12. Invisible until someone needed something. "Mom, please," I whispered, my voice cracking. "It's Christmas." My brother Michael raised his glass from across the room, that familiar smirk playing on his lips. "Rules are rules, Em. We all have to grow up sometime." The laughter that followed felt like knives. Aunt Patricia covered her mouth, pretending to hide her amusement. My cousins whispered to each other. Even Grandma, sweet Grandma, who used to sneak me cookies, turned away. I looked at my sister Sarah, desperate for any sign of support. She was examining her perfectly manicured nails, her engagement ring catching the light. The same ring bought with money from the college fund that mysteriously disappeared when I turned 18. "I'll pack my things," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. Mum shrugged and turned back to her guests. "Dinner will be ready in 20 minutes, everyone. Michael, pour everyone more wine." As I climbed the stairs to my room, my former room, I heard the party resume below. Laughter, clinking glasses, Michael telling another one of his stupid jokes, as if I had never existed at all. I should have seen it coming. The signs were there, scattered across 18 years like breadcrumbs I was too desperate to follow. It started small when I was 10. Sarah was 13, Michael 15. Dad had just packed his bags one Tuesday morning and never came back. Mum said it was my fault. "He couldn't handle another mouth to feed," she told me that night, bourbon heavy on her breath. 3 kids were too many. Sarah got a new laptop that Christmas. Michael got a car for his 16th birthday. I got hand-me-downs and IOUs that never materialized. But I made excuses. Mom was struggling. Being a single parent was hard. I could help by being quiet, by not asking for much, by being grateful for what I had. I was 12 when I started working at Mr. Chen's corner store, sweeping floors and stocking shelves after school. Every penny went into a savings account. Mum helped me open. "For college," she promised, patting my head like I was a dog who'd performed a trick. "This family is going to have at least one college graduate." I believed her, even when Sarah's shopping trips became more frequent. Even when Michael wrecked his car and somehow a new one appeared in the driveway. Even when the electricity got shut off for a week, but Mom still had money for her weekend trips to the casino. "Family helps family," she'd say, whenever I asked about my savings. "You understand, don't you, Emma? You're such a good girl." I was 16 when I won the Morrison Scholarship full ride to State University, plus a stipend for books and housing. My English teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez, had pushed me to apply, staying after school to help me with the essays. "You have something special, Emma," she told me. "Don't let anyone take that from you." But someone did. The acceptance letter came in March. By April, I received a rejection. "Upon further review of your application, we regret to inform you that the scholarship has been withdrawn due to failure to submit required documentation." Mum said she'd mailed everything. Sarah said she saw her do it. Michael said I probably screwed up the forms myself. The deadline passed. The scholarship went to someone else. I found the original documents in Sarah's room 3 months later, hidden between magazines under her bed. By then, It was too late. Why? I asked her, holding the crumpled papers. She didn't even look up from her phone. I don't know what you're talking about. That was the year I stopped believing in family. I discovered the credit cards by accident when I was 17. A pre-approved offer came to the house, congratulating me on my excellent payment history. I'd never had a credit card. The library had computers with free internet access. It took me 3 hours to figure out how to check my credit report, another hour to understand what I was looking at. 7 credit cards. Total debt, $32,000. All opened when I was 15. My mother had been building perfect credit in my name while destroying her own. Every payment made on time, just enough to keep the accounts golden. She was planning something bigger. I confronted her that night after Michael and Sarah had gone out. "It's for the family," she said, not even bothering to deny it. "You think this house pays for itself? You think food just appears on the table? That's my name, Mom. My future." She laughed, actually laughed. "What future? You think you're better than us? You think you're going to leave here and become someone important? I'm trying to—" "You're nothing," she interrupted, stepping closer. "You're here because I allow it. Those cards, that's rent, that's food, that's the price of being part of this family. Then maybe I don't want to be part of this family." The slap came fast and hard. "You don't get to choose. Family is forever, Emma. And you'll do whatever it takes to keep this family together, or you'll find yourself on the street." I touched my burning cheek and said nothing. But that night, I started planning. Between 17 and 21, I became a ghost in my own home. I worked 3 jobs: the corner store, a diner on weekends, and cleaning offices at night. I told Mom I was only working at the store. The rest of the money went into a secret account at a different bank. Sarah had graduated high school and was taking a gap year that turned into 3. She spent her days shopping and her nights partying, all funded by credit cards I'd never see but would someday have to pay for. Michael had dropped out of community college and was starting a business that consisted mainly of playing video games in his room and occasionally selling things online, things that sometimes disappeared from other parts of the house. And Mom? Mom had found her rhythm. She'd learned exactly how much she could take without killing the golden goose. She'd open a new card in my name every few months, max it out slowly, make minimum payments to keep my credit score high. She was farming me like a crop, but I was learning too. I learned to hide my tips in a tampon box, the one place Michael would never look. I learned to pick up extra shifts without anyone noticing my absence. I learned to smile and nod, and play the part of the grateful daughter while dying inside. I also learned about Sarah's secret. It started with small things: jewelry that would appear in her room, then vanish. Designer bags she couldn't possibly afford, even with Mom's help. Suspicious charges on those credit cards in my name that didn't match Mom's usual patterns. Sarah was skimming from the skim. She was stealing from Mum's theft, using my credit cards for her own purchases, and letting Mum take the blame in my mind. It was almost clever. I started documenting everything: screenshots, photos, recordings, on a cheap phone I bought with cash. Every transaction, every lie, every moment of betrayal. I thought I had more time. I thought I could wait until I had enough saved to disappear completely. Then came Christmas Eve. The morning of Christmas Eve started like any other. I made breakfast for everyone, cleaned the kitchen, and helped Mom prepare for the party. Extended family would be coming aunts, uncles, cousins, family friends. The same people who'd watched me grow up invisible. Sarah was stressed about something, pacing the house and checking her phone constantly. Michael was in an unusually good mood, whistling while he helped Mom arrange chairs in the living room. I should have known something was wrong. At 6 o'clock, as guests started arriving, Sarah pulled me aside. "I need $2,000, she whispered, her breath sharp with wine. "I don't have." "Don't lie to me." Her nails dug into my arm. "I know about your secret bank account. I know about the extra jobs." My blood went cold. "How?" "Doesn't matter. I need it tonight. Or I tell Mom everything, and you know what she'll do." I did know. She'd take everything I'd saved, every penny of my escape fund. "Sarah, please. That money is all I have." "Then you better figure something out. You have until 9. She walked away, leaving me standing in the hallway, shaking. I had $3,847 in that account. 2 years of 70-hour weeks, of missed meals, of saying no to everything that wasn't absolutely necessary. But if I gave Sarah the money, she'd just come back for more. That's when I made my decision. At 8:45, I walked into the living room, where everyone had gathered. The traditional Christmas Eve toast was about to begin. Mum stood by the fireplace, Michael beside her with the champagne. "I have an announcement," I said loudly. The room quieted. Sarah's eyes widened in warning. "For the past 6 years, my mother has been stealing from me." My voice was steady, clear. Credit cards in my name, my savings account, my college scholarship, all of it. The silence was deafening. Mom's face went red. "How dare you?" "I have proof." I held up my phone. Everything. Every transaction. Every forged document. That's when she said it. Those words that finally set me free. Pay rent or get out. I left that night with 2 bags and my laptop. Mr. Chen let me sleep in the storeroom behind the shop. It was cold, and the cot was uncomfortable, but it was mine. The next morning, Christmas Day, my phone exploded with messages. Not from family, but from Mrs. Rodriguez, my old English teacher. She'd been at the party Mom had invited her to show off, to pretend we were the perfect family. "Come over," her message read. Now, she lived in a small apartment near the school. When she opened the door, she pulled me into a hug that broke something inside me. I sobbed for 10 minutes while she held me. "I recorded everything," she said finally. "After your announcement, your mum's reaction, Michael laughing, Sarah trying to leave. All of it. Why? Because I've watched you for years, Emma. I've seen how they treat you. And last night, when your mother threw you out on Christmas Eve in front of everyone, that was the final straw. She helped me file a police report. Identity theft is a federal crime, it turns out. So is mail fraud. Sarah's destruction of my scholarship documents left a paper trail she hadn't been smart enough to hide. But the real breakthrough came 3 days later. Sarah called me, panicked. "You have to come home. You have to fix this." "Fix what?" "The police were here. They took Mom's computer. They're talking about arrest warrants. That's not my problem anymore. Emma, please." She was crying now. "I'm in trouble. Real trouble." "What kind of trouble?" The story came out in pieces. Sarah hadn't just been stealing from the family credit cards. She'd been running her own scam romance fraud, targeting older men online, taking their money with promises of love. She'd used my identity for that too, creating profiles with my clean record and good credit. One of her victims had hired a private investigator. They were closing in. "I'll go to jail," she sobbed. Unless you help me." "How could I possibly help you?" "Take the blame. Say it was you. You're already going to the police about Mom. Just add this to it. Please." The audacity of it took my breath away. Even now, even after everything, she wanted me to sacrifice myself for her. "I'll think about it," I lied. "Send me everything. All the details." She did. Names, dates, amounts, conversations, everything the FBI would need to build a federal case. January was a blur of legal procedures. The FBI took over the case when they realized the scope of Sarah's fraud: 12 victims across 6 states, nearly $200,000 stolen. Mum's credit card fraud was rolled into the larger investigation. Michael, it turned out, had been selling stolen goods online, items taken during his visits to relatives and family friends. The house of cards collapsed spectacularly. Mum was arrested on a Tuesday morning. The neighbors watched from their windows as she was led away in handcuffs, screaming that I was a traitor, that family should protect family. Sarah was arrested the same day at a spa, getting a massage paid for with a stolen credit card. She tried to run and was tackled in the parking lot. Michael lasted another week before they caught him trying to cross into Canada with a car full of electronics he'd stolen from our cousins. The trial was set for March. I was the star witness. Mrs. Rodriguez helped me find a pro bono lawyer who specialized in identity theft cases. We spent weeks preparing my testimony, organizing evidence, building an airtight case. "They'll try to paint you as vindictive," my lawyer warned. "As someone who betrayed her family out of spite. Let them try." The courtroom was packed on the first day of the trial. Extended family filled one side, glaring at me. The other side held Mrs. Rodriguez, Mr. Chen, and surprisingly, several of Sarah's victims who'd come to support me after learning I was a victim too. Mum's lawyer tried everything. I was ungrateful. I was mentally unstable. I had manipulated my poor mother, taken advantage of her generosity. Then we played the recordings. Every threat, every admission, every moment of abuse captured in digital clarity. Sarah's lawyer argued she'd learned this behavior from our mother, that she was a victim too. Then we presented the messages, where she'd bragged to friends about her stupid marks and her idiot sister who would take the fall if necessary. Michael's lawyer didn't even try to mount a defense after we showed the security footage of him breaking into houses. The verdict came on a Thursday afternoon in late March. The spring sun streamed through the courtroom windows, painting everything golden. Mom, guilty on all counts. 8 years federal prison. Sarah, guilty on all counts. 12 years federal prison, with possibility of parole in 7. Michael, guilty on all counts. 5 years federal prison. As the judge read the sentences, I felt nothing. No joy, no sadness, just empty. The family that had tortured me for 21 years was finally facing consequences, but it didn't heal the wounds they'd left. After the trial, I sat on the courthouse steps, unsure where to go. The storeroom at Mr. Chen's wasn't a long-term solution. My credit was destroyed, despite not being responsible for any of it. My education had been derailed. I had $3,847 and no family. Emma? I looked up to find David Chen, Mr. Chen's son, standing there in a suit. He'd become a lawyer, working at a firm downtown. We'd grown up together, sort of him helping in the store during summers, me working there year-round. "I watched the trial," he said, sitting beside me. "What you did took incredible courage. It took desperation. Maybe. But my dad talks about you all the time. How you never stole, never slacked, never complained, even when he knew things were bad at home. That's not desperation. That's character." He handed me a business card. "My firm is looking for a paralegal. No experience necessary, we'll train you. And we have a program for continuing education. You could finish your degree at night." Why would you? Because everyone deserves a second chance. And because my dad would never forgive me if I didn't help the girl who spent Christmas sleeping in his storeroom, rather than stay with people who hurt her. 2 years have passed since that Christmas Eve. I work at Chen, Martinez and Associates now, specializing in identity theft and fraud cases. Turns out, lived experience is valuable in law. I help victims navigate the same system that saved me, guide them through the confusion and fear and anger. My credit is slowly recovering. The court ordered restitution, though I'll never see most of it. But I don't need their money anymore. I make my own. I'm finishing my degree online pre-law, with a focus on criminal justice. David says the firm will sponsor my law school applications when I'm ready. Mrs. Rodriguez writes my recommendation letters, each one making me cry. I have a small apartment now, nothing fancy, but entirely mine. No one else's name on the lease. No one else's stuff in the closets. No one else's lies in the air. Sometimes I get letters from prison. Mum writes about how I destroyed the family, how I'll regret this when I'm old and alone. I throw them away unopened now. Sarah writes too, different kinds of letters, apologetic ones. She's found religion, she says. She's sorry, she says. She wants to make amends, she says. Maybe she means it. Maybe prison has changed her. But I'm not ready to find out. Michael doesn't write. His cellmate does, occasionally, saying Michael talks about his sister sometimes, about how she was the only one who ever actually worked for anything. I don't know if that's growth or manipulation. I don't care. Last week, I got an invitation to Aunt Patricia's daughter's wedding, a tentative olive branch from extended family who are beginning to understand what really happened. I sent back a polite decline and a nice gift from the registry. I'm not ready for family yet. Maybe I never will be. Tonight is Christmas Eve again, 3 years after everything changed. I'm at Mr. Chen's store, helping with the holiday rush. He insists on paying me consultant rates now, even though I tell him it's unnecessary. His wife sends me home with enough food for a week. David stops by after work, bringing coffee and cookies from the bakery down the street. We sit behind the counter, watching last-minute shoppers rush by outside. "Any plans tonight?" he asks. "Mrs. Rodriguez invited me for dinner. She does every year now." "That's nice." "Yeah, it is." We sit in comfortable silence. He knows my story, everyone at the firm does. But he never pities me, never treats me like something broken that needs fixing. "You know," he says eventually, "my mum keeps asking when you're coming for dinner. Tell her soon." I've been telling her that for 2 years. I laugh, surprising myself. Then tell her, definitely soon. My phone buzzes. A text from a number I don't recognize. I almost delete it. Then see the preview. "Emma, this is Dad. My father." The man who walked away when I was 10. Who left me to become the family scapegoat. Who never once checked if I was okay. I heard about the trial. The message continues. I'm sorry for everything. I should have taken you with me. I stare at the screen for a long moment, then delete the message. Some bridges aren't worth rebuilding. Some betrayals run too deep. You okay? David asks. Yeah, I am. And for the first time in my life, I mean it. The bell above the door chimes. As a customer enters, a young woman with tired eyes and careful movements that remind me of myself 3 years ago. She counts out exact change for milk and bread, apologizing for the pennies. Keep your money, I tell her, paying for her groceries myself. And take this. I hand her a business card for our firm's pro bono services. In case you ever need help. She looks at me, surprised and suspicious. I recognize that too. But she takes the card. After she leaves, David squeezes my shoulder gently. You're going to make a great lawyer. Maybe. Definitely. As the store closes and we walk out into the cold December night, I realize something. They took everything from me. My childhood, my savings, my credit, my trust. They tried to erase me, to make me nothing more than a resource to be exploited. But here's what they never understood. You can't steal someone's spirit. You can't destroy someone who refuses to be destroyed. And you can't erase someone who finally learns to write their own story. My name is Emma Martinez. Now I legally changed it last year. I am 24 years old. I am a paralegal, a student, a survivor, and I am finally, truly free. This Christmas Eve, I'm not standing in a room full of people who hate me, begging for belonging. I'm not washing dishes while others celebrate, invisible until needed. I'm not being humiliated, betrayed, and thrown away like garbage. This Christmas Eve, I'm walking toward a future I'm building myself, surrounded by people who value me for who I am, not what they can take from me. And that's the best gift I could have ever given myself, the gift of walking away, of choosing myself, of breaking free from the people who claimed to love me while they picked my bones clean. Family isn't always forever. Sometimes, the greatest act of love is letting go of those who never loved you at all. As the snow begins to fall and Emma walks into her future with newfound strength, we are reminded of the incredible power of self-belief and the courage it takes to break free from the chains of betrayal. Her story isn't just about survival. It's about reclaiming your identity, choosing yourself, and never letting anyone diminish your worth. If Emma's journey resonated with you, if you believe in the power of self-liberation and resilience, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us share stories that inspire, uplift, and remind us all that we have the strength to overcome. Thank you for watching, and remember, you are never alone in your journey.